Okay, I'm going to share two stories for whatever they're worth. And it's really directed to this whole Me Too nonsense. One's going to be a story from long ago in my life, and one's going to be somewhat recent, I guess. So, the older story, I was around 20 years old, and I had a party or something, and a lady that I knew, she was a veterinarian. She was over, and I remember I didn't drink often because of my training schedule, but when I had, say, 3 days off consecutively, that first night, especially if it fell on a Friday night, I indulged. And I remember passing out on my bed, and the next thing I knew, I was waking up to having an orgasm, and she was giving me a blowjob, and I that's what woke me up, and I was still really drunk. I was really surprised, but that's how I woke up, and then I'm semi-awake now, and she goes and leaves, and that's about that story. Like I don't can't really say much more because I don't remember much more. She wasn't drunk. So how I ended up on my bed with her giving me a blowjob, I don't know. Now, fast forwarding to around 2012, I was going through a very difficult time, and I've mentioned before how women would help me, and well, they would get really upset when I would reject their advancements for sex or a relationship. But there was one night this lady was helping me, and I was looking after uh, her her house and her pool and everything. And I had remember I went over to visit before she was leaving on this trip with her boyfriend, and I remember I was not feeling well. I had a cold or something, and she offered me cold medicine, like a little pill cold medicine. And I said, well, what is it? And based on her career, I took her word for it that it was cold medicine. Well, I remember I must have just passed out soon after. I remember being tired and laying down in the spare bedroom. I couldn't keep my eyes open. And I vaguely remember her riding me. I don't even know if it happened or what. I don't know. But it was the next morning when I woke up. I ended up sleeping there the night. I woke up alone in the bed, and I thought, okay, well, the bathroom and the shower was just across the door. So I went to take a shower, and my dick didn't, like, it felt kind of, I don't know, I want to say like dirty, but I'm a clean person. Trust me, I'm clean. But so I felt, and felt kind of sticky. I smelt my fingers, and it smelled like sex. So I don't know. I remember standing, like I was in the shower, that I hadn't turned the shower on yet, and thinking, what the hell happened? So anyway, I took a shower and went downstairs, and I don't know. She seemed kind of odd, um, not her usual self in the kitchen, and I felt really odd, and she was acting kind of odd, and I didn't have any signs that I had an orgasm, but I don't know. I don't even know what happened. I mean, how do you describe what happened? So I left, and life continued on. So one more quick story, not sexual related. Had a girlfriend. I was about, I think, 21, and Remember one day we were driving in the car and she got really pissed off at me, and had a brand new car right out of the showroom. I was really proud of it. And as we were driving, she got pissed off and threw a open can of Coke at me while I was driving. And I remember it hit the driver window and Coke just splattered everywhere. It was just a sticky mess. And I ended up dropping her off on the edge of town, of the city. And anyway, uh, she was okay. Like soon after, I worried, make sure, like I thought, oh no, something's gonna happen to her. But it turned out she was okay. But when I seen her next time, she was still pissed off. I don't know about what. And I remember I was putting my shoes on to leave, and she was kicking my shins and, just, hitting me in the head. And she scratched my forehead really bad that it was bleeding. Like I had blood coming down in front of my face. So I thought, I'm going to go to the police station and, file a complaint and whatever. So I get to the police station, and I'm trying to explain to the cops behind the counter, what just happened, and I want to file a report. Well, they started laughing and said, well, how is she? I said, I didn't touch her, and they didn't believe me. So they said, well, we're going to have to call her. And they said, well, regardless, if you're going to proceed with this, we're going to have to charge you. And I remember standing there going, like, I'm the one that's bleeding. Anyway, they called her, and she said she was fine. And I guess she said she lost her temper and she was sorry. And the police wouldn't even file a report or anything. And so I ended up leaving and going back to my place and washing the blood off my face. And that was it. And at the time, I couldn't figure out, like, is it something to do with me? Whatever, I don't know. But now, as I've stated in previous videos, researching feminism and the cancerous effect it's had on society, I understand now what that was all about, and, things that I've had to deal with throughout my life. These two examples that I gave in my life, am I entitled, with my white male privilege, to now pursue a Me Too against them? Doubt it. Who would even take me seriously? I can't even remember what the hell happened. So looking at it from that perspective, and I've shared in another video an example of a sexual assault case with regards to 5 or 6 female nurses. I have no recourse. I don't even know, even if I was to go now, like many of these women, what do I say? Well, this is all that I know that happened. I doubt very much an investigation or anything would ensue. So I just thought I'd share these two examples of one time when I was really drunk and I passed out, and another time where I don't know if I was drugged or what happened. And as I said, that last example, based on that female's career, she would have had access to all sorts of drugs and stuff like that. Anyway, for what it's worth, I'm sharing these two stories, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and share.